Coming up towards 7 minutes after 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago. Time for our business breakfast segment with the support of Value Optical. And again, we thank Value Optical for their continued support of this segment, which is usually on a Monday. But yesterday was the Diwali holiday. Of course, and the Diwali observances continue for the next couple of days. But we focus now on AMCHAM T&T because they have a major event coming up in a week's time on November the 1st. It's the 26th edition of the HSSE Conference and Exhibition taking place at the Hyatt Regency. It's a hybrid event, and we have the CEO of AMCHAM T&T, Nirad Tewarie, joining us this morning. Nirad, thanks very much for taking the time. Trust the Diwali observances are going well?
They have been, thankfully.
Okay, good to hear. We didn't get a bit of your audio, but now you're back up. So you said everything went well so far with the observances?
Yes, thank you very much. They have.
Great. All right, so let's talk about what's coming up in a week's time.
Yeah, so we have our, as you said, our 26th annual Health, Safety, Security and Environment Conference. It's an exciting conference for us this year for a couple of reasons. One is it's the first year in 3 that we're back to in-person. And while we will have a hybrid option, meaning you can log in online and we have the system for that, we expect some 450 people to be in person, all mingling and mixing and learning together and sharing experiences. We have more than 40 booths at the exhibition of the conference, which is free. And what we're doing this year that is different, 2 main things. One is we have a full separate cybersecurity track. It's almost like its own conference, given the importance of cybersecurity and the amount of incidents that we are seeing, both locally and globally, and the need for companies to learn. And then secondly, we have a series of curated events that are free to target some of the companies that are not participating in the HSSE conference or not traditionally participating, because the overall goal is not to have a conference that people pay to attend just to have the conference, but to build a safety culture. So in there we have things like ESG. We have a free workshop with the UN. We've done a toolkit so that companies can start their assessment, their self-assessment, those who need a little help and don't necessarily have the funds to pay for consultants initially. We can do that. And then we have things like social engineering and human and organizational performance. So we have a lot of topics that can assist with companies' safety journeys.
And I'm looking at some of the items on the agenda, and for example, meet your regulators and understand compliance, social engineering, building small business resilience, emphasizing the importance of risk assessment, moving beyond zero. That's a leadership workshop as well. So as far as all these different events, will they all, because it's a hybrid thing, whether you're in person or online, will you be able to benefit from all of these activities?
Yeah, exactly. So the first 2 days are in person with a hybrid option. So whether you're in person or online on day 1 and day 2, you will have access to the same content. And then day 3 is a completely virtual option, and that's sort of an add-on, because traditionally the conference is 2 days. So we've extended it because of the amount of interest that we've gotten from people who want to share. And I should say, AMCHAM really has been focusing on HSE for a long time. And over the last 3 years in our HSE committee, we've had more than 30 incidents shared, near misses and the like, where companies are sharing what's happening in their companies so that others can learn, so that we try our best to create the conditions so that we can minimize risk and hopefully avoid accidents or incidents. And the two being a little different.
And therefore, what do people have to do to register and to benefit from what's going to be happening next week?
Sorry, I missed just the first part of what you said.
Basically, what do people have to do to register for the event?
You go to amchamtt.com and you register. You reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, and we'll respond to you. You can send an email to us at choydurity@amchamtt.com, and we will respond. But so this is not a conference only for HSE professionals. As you mentioned, we're dealing with things like psychological safety, mental health in the workplace. So if you're a legal and compliance person, you want to hear from the regulators, leaders, understanding that HSE starts with the leadership and the tone, the culture. We have a few workshops specifically designed for your C-suite executives. And then we have things like psychological safety, things that might impact HR, mental health, and the like, so that it really is a conference where you should have many different parts of your organization participate. And of course, we spoke of the cybersecurity track as well.
And I noticed, because I'm on the AMCHAM T&T website now, they actually have a countdown that's on. 6 days, 23 hours, 47 minutes to go to the opening of the event next week, Tuesday. So everybody could count down to the event. Do you get that sense, Nirad, that there's that greater recognition and acceptance of the essential nature of HSSE and awareness and basically factoring in the costs associated with proper HSSE as part of the fundamental business operations? Are you seeing that happening?
So, I mean, overall, Trinidad and Tobago has had a very good reputation and outcome when it comes to HSE in heavy industry and large manufacturing. What happens as you see in many places is where the business is not as robust and you don't have the same emphasis on systems, but rather just operations. There is some work to be done. So we added, for example, a mentorship component to the conference this year, to the awards that we do, where we have past winners of the awards mentoring companies that applied but didn't win, but did well and are committed to improving their systems. So the answer to your question is both yes and no. The companies that have systems generally and are committed to building those do fairly well. Those who are in a different stage of their growth journey may not see HSE as priority at the beginning. And so if you look at the kinds of incidents recorded at OSH, there are an uncomfortable number in construction and manufacturing generally. And so we're hoping that's part of the reason why we did some of the free sessions this year, to try and target some companies in those sectors in particular that do not traditionally come to the conference, so that if the issue is a price issue or paying issue, hopefully we can ameliorate that, because really it is about sharing and learning.
We have a couple of minutes left in our discussion, Nirad, Tewarie. I noticed that there are a couple of booths still available. Of course, you're very well subscribed as far as those that are taken up by the private sector and other agencies. But is it the same contact information for anyone who even at this stage might want to fill one of those spaces remaining?
Unfortunately, for anyone who does, we are completely sold out with booths, and we've been adding space. We've asked the Hyatt to give us extra space, and those are sold as well. So the exhibition is oversubscribed. We actually have a bit of a waiting list. It's a great position to be in, I'll be honest, because sometimes at the last minute you're scrambling to sell a few last things, but the exhibition is oversubscribed, and so we hope people come. And the exhibition is free, and so we hope that the leaders come and see what the companies have to offer at the exhibition.
All right. Well, you need to update the website because it's showing a few spots
I do. Well,
available.
We had a good weekend.
in that regard, yes. Long weekend and you observing Diwali, you get away with it this time around though. But finally, before we conclude, Nirad, Tewarie, we thank you for taking the time to be with us. Just give the contact information once again for anyone who would like to get more information on what is they're required to do to be part of the experience next week.
Sure. I just have to say before I do that, Fazeer, you just made my Diwali, because we got you to smile, even if it is a smirk when you're looking at the website. But anytime you get Fazeer to smile is a win for the day, for the week. But you can check out amchamtt.com. Check us, AmCham Trinidad and Tobago, on Facebook, on Instagram, and LinkedIn, and you will be able to reach us. And we'll get back to you if you send us a message. Thanks a lot, Fazeer.
Well, at least I'll make you happy in some way, although if it's a smirk, it's like a certain minister, I think, of always has that smirk about it, but I wouldn't call any names to cause any issues this morning, because we're focusing on the event that's coming up next week. Again, from next week, Tuesday, runs until the 3rd.
Well, I leave it to you to pick your comparators.
Don't get me in no more trouble this morning. Nirad, Tewarie, thanks very much for taking the time to be with us this morning. Nirad Tewarie, the CEO of AMCHAM T&T, head of their HSSE Conference, the 26th edition. It's going to be from November 1st to the 3rd. The exhibitors will be on display on the 1st and 2nd, and then a virtual event on the 3rd as well. 7:17 in Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be back right after this.
I was planning to forget Calypso, to go and plant peace in Tobago, but I am afraid I can't make the grade. Every night I lie down in my bed,